Yeah.
And that's very natural, and they just need some more time.
Yeah, it's that's we talk about it all the time. So there really isn't too much more point here to keep reiterating it. It's definitely getting that experience is important, and that'll just come with time. But with that said, they'll get some more experience here because game number 2, it looks like it has officially begun. The countdown has gone through, and we are now in the blind band stage. So let's go ahead and jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen, between TT Esports and the returners, of course. 1 second. Go ahead and fix something real quickly. But so they are on the blind band stage. But yeah, let me just take care of something real quickly here. There we go. All right, I had one job and I failed at it horrifically. Okay, so now we're back into the game, and as you can see, there we go. Ophelia and Jeraziah are going to be blind banned by TT Esports. Ophelia Wild Soul from the returners. So once again, we only have 3 blind bans taking place here.
Yeah, again, it's interesting to see. Well, Ophelia banned both times by the Legion side. Of course, it was banned by the returners both games, but I really feel like if you're first pick and you have that option to take Ophelia first, most teams have an Ophelia player that they're confident in picking it, then there's no reason to ban it as the first position. But nonetheless, Slicks does ban it. There's also that strategy of, well, we know they're going to ban it, so let's just go ahead and ban it, then we can get a better first pick hero. There's always that. The Wild Soul ban as well. The same ban's actually coming out for the returners, and I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it's the Ophelia 1 being banned by both yet again. So clearly a hero that these two teams respect against one another. The difference, yeah, they're being the Fade, though. So I'm curious if she comes about here in this series, or this game specifically. Keeper the 4 is going to be the first lock, though, from TT Esports. And how about that? Emperor goes ahead and locks Tempest. Yeah. Almost 4 of them, it seems like. Because, again, obviously that's how it actually went last game. The TT Esports locked both of those heroes. Granted, the returners did, of course, get Tempest for themselves. And TT Esports got Keeper the 4s. But, again, 2 strong first locks here. Emperor, though, thinking about this second lock for himself. Going to start using some extra time now to do so on top of that.
Yeah, and I think TT Esports is going to continue to lock a Keeper the Forest and use him as that suicide long laner. And until it gets shut down, I feel like there's no reason to stop using it. It's very strong. Riser plays it perfectly. And he's able to get lots of farming experience and still help his team out in the mid game and the late game. So it's one of their go-to picks. Parasite is the second lock there coming out for Emperor. So lots of junglers. I mean, 3 junglers right off the bat in that lock pool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite the interesting point to bring up there. However, you know, at least 2 of those 3 heroes can also be played in that suicide role, of course. Granted, I do remember seeing Parasite in a suicide role before. I want to say WTF, actually, when he used to play for TT Esports. They actually tried it out a couple times, I believe, running in his suicide role. It was interesting. I don't think he was very successful with it ever. But
well, it was different back then because Parasite could deny right away.
That's a good point. I thought about that as soon as you were about to bring it up. That's a good point. Bubbles and Devour, though, the final 2 logs from TT Esports. And there's Kinesis coming out from the returners. Devour. We saw him yesterday played by Misery for Team Keurig.
Yeah.
Played a fantastic Devour.
He did.
You mentioned TT Esports has been running a bit of Devour themselves lately, too, though.
They put it on Moravis a lot. It's another one of Moravis' kind of signature heroes, I should say, or he just likes to play it a lot. And he plays it well. And I know one of Slick's strategies is kind of like, let's just give Moravis Devour and we'll win. I know that's what he thinks. And, hey, they've had great success with it so far, so why stop now?
Yeah.
So they lock that. The only thing I wonder is, you know, with both with both Keeper and Tempest in the board, I wonder if they're going to go for that strategy of having that Keeper long lane and then Tempest in the jungle. Or if they are going to go for that Devour. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Of course, that also comes down to how the returners pick. Obviously, they will have the first pick on TT Sports, but the second and third will go to the returner. So depending on how that all plays out, I'm sure will play a role here for Slicks being the captain and the guy in the pick slot here for his team. So the bans have begun, though. Dark Lady, the first ban. There's the Fade ban. He was blind banned the last game, I believe, but this time just going to be regular banned. There we go with Nymphora. So going a little bit back and forth. Last game, it seemed like they were using a bit of time here on the banning phase, but it seems like they're picking it up so slightly here this time around. I mean, how about the Kinesis, though? We've seen him a couple. We're starting to see him more and more played by Jepins. I think that's overall the 3rd time we've seen him, I want to say. Are you starting to see potential with the hero?
Yeah, I mean, the burst potential is there. He used that telekinetic lift, I believe it's called, to get the creep wave back. Of course, I did mention Leon Black unfortunately did a single pull, and that's really a big no-no. You're never supposed to do that. as it pushes up the lane considerably amount, unless you're doing it deliberately and want to push, but they simply didn't push. So they got a little bit of tower damage, but it wasn't even close to killing it. I don't think even took it to half. Yeah. But yeah, Kinesis, I think it is viable, and it has a lot of damage output, and we definitely saw that. Of course, it wasn't really practical that game because they were down so much. Like I mentioned, we didn't really get to see his potential, but I have seen it before, and it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point to bring up. I don't know if we've actually gotten the chance to see him in like a full game where it's actually plays out at a very even game, and we get to actually see what he brings to the table in that later game stage. But we got to cut a little bit of experience, see the early laning phase, see where he stands, and it does seem like there is potential for him, definitely. So Jetpin's kind of one of these players that likes to play a new hero on the scene apparently, and may start seeing it more and more as a result. We'll see if that happens to be the case. But the final ban coming out right there, it is going to be Magmus. So overall, we had Dark Lady, Fate, Nymphora, Tundra, Warbeast, and Magmus are our 6 bans. Now the first pick from TteS Esports, Slicks will a snap pick. No, he will not. There is going to be a Pebbles on the board, so I'm sure that's something maybe he's thinking about. But he also got a Luna, Glacius. Plenty of options here. There's always a lot of carry heroes, actually, I'm really looking at it. Dark Lady, kind of that only carry hero band. None of them locked up, so a lot of options. Glacius is going to be the first pick here.
I thought they might take a support. Now, there is still Draconis in that pool, which is kind of silly or crazy to me. I know TteS Esports does love to run Draconis, but
silly and crazy.
I know. I really think that they want that Devour from that log pool. Yeah. I feel like they might even first pick it. They want it that much. We'll have to wait and see. And if they can maybe pick something around that, Glacius is perfect for that. Of course, I think they run it actually middle as a solo, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to wait and see. A Luna Pebbles as the picks for these tags get me. I almost said complexity because it's not Enso.
Or deal with it.
Or deal with
KJR.
KJR.
Whatever that is. What does that stand for, actually? Let's see what it stands for. Kittens Just Rule. Jetpins, you're amazing. I wonder if he's a fan of Reddit.
We got TteS Esports taking it on Kittens Just Rule. No, but the Luna Pebbles, very strong comp, and I expect to see that maybe go mid. A really strong strategy, I think, lately, is we're starting to see tiny shifts in the metagame, nothing huge, is more dual lanes mid, with the solo short and a jungler and then a suicide hero. And dual lanes mid, it really gives you the best of both worlds, because if you know there's a suicide hero on the other team, you can pick one to crush it. So say there's a Bubbles, so like, easy. I don't want to put 2 against Bubbles, because that's what they want. I'll put 1 against it. So say you throw something like a Silhouette. Yeah, exactly. Silhouette or Demented Shaman. And then they always throw a solo mid. We see with Complexity always throw a Witch Slayer mid or a Fade mid. We'll throw a strong dual lane mid that crushes that. Okay, so we won that lane. We won the top lane. Now let's have a jungler. So we're winning another lane. The only lane that we're potentially losing is that suicide. And if you get a quote-unquote unfair suicide hero like Wild Soul, then it's all gravy, baby.
Just all gravy. Wretched Hag and Legionnaire, the final regular picks here for TteS Esports. Funny thing about Wretched Hag, being played by Slicks especially, there was a game a couple of days ago, I want to say we were monitoring or just watching it after the cast even, but he ended up getting a Firebrand and Assassin Shroud. I mean, he was going all out late carry style, and they ended up winning that game. I think they're in a pretty comfortable spot, but always entertaining to see him play that. But how about that? Soul Reaper the final pick, Keeper of the Forest, snap pick, lock pick here for TteS Esports, and now Returner's going to think about their 2 picks from the lock pool here. So
yeah, they're going to have that Legionnaire jungle. It's going to be a Glacius. Probably, I think Devour is still going to get picked. And we're going to see a Parasite and then a most likely Kinesis here. They could also go Bubbles as their suicide, and they're doing exactly what I expected. Is they're going to have a dual lane mid with Pebbles and Luna, probably a Soul Reaper top, and if that goes against a Suicide Keeper, it should, in theory, crush him.
Yeah.
It should crush him. Soul Reaper is amazing against melee heroes in a solo 1v1 role. And you level the aura first, and it just does massive amounts of damage. It pushes them out of the lane. They don't have enough regen to stay in there. And they are going to go yet again with that Kinesis, probably for that suicide role.
I love the Devoured snap pick there, too, at the last second. So as you expected, Moravis, no doubt, going to play Devour, and he is going to use that 7 Deadly Sins avatar here. So it was actually pretty cool to see that yesterday. We are going to see it again today. Soul Reaper, yeah, I'm excited to see that. That is a hero we never see on the competitive scene, and picked up here. Going to be played by Angry Testy, actually, so I'm sure people are excited for that. Yeah, you would think about it if he is matched up against Keeper of the Forest, having that aura, having the heal nuke as well against it. Seems like it would be very powerful because of all the minions. He can just nuke those down with a couple of nukes. So Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Angry Testy plays Soul Reaper here. He is going to be heading top, it looks like, by his Guardian Ring, Minor Totems, and Trees. And there we go, Keeper of the Forest running top, currently only with a Ward of Sight. But he's just trying to get up there as soon as possible to, of course, place that. He's not a bubble, so he can't really port there, but he should be able to get up there and place it in time. As you see on the mini-map, only Soul Reaper going up there by himself.
Yep. Yeah, Soul Reaper going those typical side lane solo items. Going to go for the fast ring of the Teacher, which I definitely agree with. And then, of course, the 4 totems and 6 runes of the Blight. Kinesis down here, he's going to try to get this ward off. He has the rest of his team surrounding him, and they might try to pick a fight, which I think they might actually be quite strong in fighting here. We'll have to wait and see. A fight is a brew, and here we go, a 4-on-4 matchup. But both teams are kind of playing a little bit passive. They don't want to fight it. They did get the ward off, actually. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
so
Parasite
Emperor,
went around the back.
Yeah, Parasite Emperor, kind of a sneaky move there. But I definitely agree with that. That was really good. They probably don't even realize it was placed.
Yeah.
So good job by him.
Well, Moravis was setting himself up in the trees right here. My guess was that he was going to hook and then have him trapped basically in the trees. But he never really got the angle that he was looking for. Again, as a spectator, we have that God vision, so we can see everything, and it's very likely that they just didn't have the vision that we saw and, was fade to black and just were not able to get the right angle. So Moravis went for a good hook right there, but in the end wasn't able to go through.
Did he not level his ability yet? Because he does have Rot right
now.
You're
right,
and
yeah.
It's usually not a smart move to level up your hook, even if you think you might be able to get a kill right there. If you miss, or even if you do hook him, and you have to have the follow-up right away, because otherwise you're just this big tanky mess that does nothing. So Rot is usually the smarter pick. He is actually going to go mid, and they actually have a... Oh, no, it looked like they had a deny. He was covering up a creep because he's so damn fat. I thought they had a deny in mid. I was like, where's that coming from?
Fat. Yes, Devour is one of the heavier set heroes in the game, Trout. You are correct. He is going up against a Pebbles Aluna here in the middle lane. I guess I'm pretty sure that's what you called that as well. Parasite here at the bottom side was thinking about going to the jungle. Got a little bit of harassment there. He got taunted even, but now he's going to head back in. So he's going to be here to be a nuisance to Legionnaire apparently, as well as just being an aggressive jungle. Glacius being played by Leon Black, though. He has eventually come to the middle lane. So we are going to have a 2 versus 2 matchup here. I got to think it's simply going to be a case of, especially at level 2, will Devour be able to hit a hook and get that Bloodlust kill perhaps even as a result of that. But the top lane, it is also Soul Reaper versus Keeper of the Forest. And as you said, he should win this lane quite heavily, so I'm curious to see how that plays out. He did go the heal first, so not going the aura just yet, but level 2 we'll see.
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, he did spam the heal once, but I feel like there's really no reason to spam a level 1 heal. It just really does nothing. And the aura, you're going to do so much damage. I mean, he would be like less than half HP right now if he had the aura this whole time. It would just be sitting on him this whole time. And the only way he can get rid of it, and he actually uses the heal yet again, only gets 1 creep out of it though, and now he's got hardly no mana. He can maybe spam it once more. It's just, it's not worth it. He finally does level up the aura, but spamming those level 1 heals, not the best utilization of mana.
And Keeper of the Forest, though, he's going to start eating some trees and, of course, applying that regen to himself as well as a result of that aura doing some damage. But and it looks like, may not be the most effective. I am curious, would you suggest him leveling up the aura even, or is the 1 level fine?
No, I think, and I'm going to give a shout out to Hani, as we had this theory crafting, I think, a long time ago. Actually, DreamHack winter 2011. Yeah, that was it. We sat down, we were talking about Soul Reaper, and how you can actually level up your aura in certain situations, and it's much more effective. Because obviously it costs no mana. And if you know you're not going to get ganked, like who's going to gank you in this lineup? Like Legionnaire, maybe, if he switches jungles, but that's usually pretty evident. Then it requires no mana, and you're going to do considerable amount of damage to that keeper. And he actually is going to use a health potion, and he's going to invis up. He's going to be fine. And then actually, Soul Reaper has opted to go through that Inhuman Nature. So leveling his 3rd ability right now. Wants a little bit of extra mana for those last hits. I agree with that. But just the fact that he was spamming his level 1 heal, not something I agree with.
All right. So, but again, we'll see how Angry Testy, of course, known as Day 9 the Fish here in this game, but see how he does throughout this game. You do see his level 2 heal now, and the lane is getting pushed up a little bit here for Keeper of the Forest. So obviously that's just a natural thing you're going to have to worry about, too, if you're going to be using that heal bomb quite a bit, that you will start to push up the lane just naturally from that. Devour up on the front lines against this Pebbles Aluna lane. He's almost as if he's baiting them to perhaps try to jump him, but they're not falling for that. And Parasite, as I said earlier, he has continued to kind of be a nuisance here for Legionnaire here at the jungle. He's kind of gone by and stolen a couple of creeps that he was spinning up, but needs to be careful right here. Will he be hooked? Moravia's trying to get that angle, but Parasite's just a little bit too fast. He did go the boots first, mind you, as well. And so obviously helping him a little bit even right there. So Emperor's going to be fine. May set up a gank here at the bottom lane. He does have a Catman champion. It is a Wretched Hag, so definitely not a guaranteed kill by any means. We see a lot of damage coming out from Kinesis, though, putting him up in the air. Here comes a Catman champion on the flank, getting the blink. Emperor is trying to cut him off. Will he just come out with a leech, or will he go for the Catman nuke? He's going to get close enough. There's that Catman nuke. The auto attack's going to come out, and down goes Wretched Hag. Very good patience right there from Emperor, and they get the bloodlust kill as a result.
Well played by both. Unfortunately, he is dragging some creeps. Oh, no, he actually copped out of the creep and then made the other creeps aggro back to the regular lane. But, yeah, well played by him. That was a good heads-up play by both players, really. They were expecting the blink, and he got him right afterwards, so good job. I did want to mention something I thought was a little funny, okay? There's no flying courier. Okay, there is now a flying courier, but there wasn't. An angry Tessie up here, he sent himself the, what's it called, the Scarab to finish that ring of the teacher from the walking courier. But he can just use the side shop right here, so kind of questionable right there, especially considering Pebbles was sitting on like 900 gold in mid.
Yeah.
And so had a late bottle. It didn't really affect him that much, but it's just kind of odd. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It is a case.
And it was a walking courier. The courier
that is what makes it really bad. Oh, the hook right there in the middle lane, going to miss Pebbles. He got frozen right after, so they were definitely expecting that hook to land, of course. I mean, I guess it would be stupid to throw it out if you don't expect it to land, but they miss it. Yeah, that was a stupid thing to say, I know. It's one of those moments where you go,
it's one of those Moon Meanders.
I'm an idiot.
Intimidation tactics. Right?
Exactly. Intimidation tactics
Shout
at its finest, right? Wanting to kind of scare him a little bit, that's all. Yeah, so missing right there. What you see once again at the bottom lane, Wretched Hag takes the damage. Here comes Parasite. He's level 4, trying to maybe get a blink opportunity into a kill. He's going to blink forward, though. In comes the leech, however. There's the nuke from Kinesis, and down it goes. That was just the W. That was a telekinetic lift. He just levels up his ultimate as he hit level 6 from it as well. So Slicks isn't having the greatest time here at this bottom lane.
Well, they're simply outlaned. Like, these lanes are so much better for returners this game than it was last. I mean, you got the dual lane mid. It's a superior dual lane. Yes, there's always that chance of getting hooked. Like, say he hooks a Luna, she could be in a lot of trouble. Even then, though, if Pebbles is quick to respond, they don't have necessarily a free kill on them. So they're winning They're winning the lane mid. They're winning the lane top. They have a jungler and Parasite, and they're winning bottom. They're winning basically 4 lanes essentially, and that's how you win Han, guys. It's winning your lanes, and then but still making sure you have the team fight potential, which they do. They have Pebbles. It's not the strongest team fight in the world, but they still have strong heroes, and Soul Reaper can carry this to the late game if it gets that late.
Oh yeah, he is one of those intelligence carries. Actually, in the middle lane, Pebbles, a lot of damage coming out. Moravis sitting on top of the right, says, "Get off me, bro!" But it's not going to be enough. Pebbles will fall. Obviously, Aluna, she was roaming top, and I'm pretty sure that's why TteS Esports even looked to initiate it. They realized she was missing, and it worked out perfectly. Kinesis at the bottom lane. In comes the Minotaur. The Baplas is going to be his. Wretched Hag will fall. Can they get the deny off? They're going to need to deny. He's not going to live through this. Oh my god, he might. No, he gets denied at the last second. Yeah, the last tick would have gotten him. Great job by Emperor once again, coming in perfectly and assisting for the kill, and then denying his teammate. Jeppins, you're all right, though. Jeppins obviously deserves a lot of credit, too, and he is playing this bottom lane very, very well. So Slicks, 0-3-0. I mean, he's getting okay creep kills. He's 21-7, but obviously those 3 deaths really, really slowing him down here. So no doubt the returners, a much better game start, at least, this time around than it was last game, and what seemed to be a pretty deciding victory for TteS Esports in game number 1, thus being them up 1-0. But returners making a strong fight here so far in game number 2. Ghost Marchers already finished on Emperor, actually, as in the middle lane. They're going to jump themselves onto Devour. Devour's going to get taken out. Kinesis came in. Again, not even using the ultimate. You always have to make sure of that. He uses telekinetic lift and gets the kill as a result of it. Yeah,
and actually they're going to try to roam someone here. They're looking for Glacius. He has boots. He's going to run away. I just think that this role that Emperor is playing this game suits him so much better than the mid. And not to say that he plays a bad mid, but I'm just saying this seems to be something that fits him a lot more.
Yeah.
This is characteristically what I think of Emperor when I think of a jungle-style hero. And he's much more active, and I think it suits his playstyle. He's been doing a lot better job this game. Top lane, let's check out the CS with Soul Reaper versus Keeper. We got a 28-4 Keeper against a 44-10 Soul Reaper. So he's definitely winning this lane. I still think, actually, action mid lane. Here comes Kinesis trying to gank this Devour. He actually uses his Q ability. It mitigates a little bit of damage, but there's 4 heroes here, so you're not going to mitigate at all. And he definitely gets, Enso actually gets the kill for that one.
Yeah, that is a little bit, see, the Q ability coming out from Kinesis, obviously called the Stasis Smash, it's a very interesting ability because it's a case of, yes, it'll snare them, it won't snare them, it'll stun them in a sense, it'll CC them, put them in the air, but they take 50% less damage, so you do got to be careful when you're using that, of course, as a Kinesis player, as we saw last game with the Silver Bullet going into it. as a result of miscommunication. So right there, it was kind of another case. It was like some burst damage was coming out, and he threw him up in the air. Not the biggest steal right there, obviously, with how many heroes they ultimately had. It is a trade-off at the same time. You know, if he does stay up there for the full duration, he will come down to be stunned for anywhere from 1 second to nearly 2 seconds. But you do need to be a little bit careful. Kinesis at the bottom lane, though. He's in a lot of trouble. Legionnaire coming in. He says, anything your jungle can do, I can do better. Lifts him up in the air, though, trying to get away. Here comes the telekinetic lift. Bat Blast will hit right there. And finally, decapitate from White Talaba on Legionnaire, finishing him off. So good catch. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, a hook attempt from Moravis. Not going to land right there. Pebble's a good side step. At the bottom lane, though, Parasite coming in. The final auto attack just not enough on a hack. In comes Legionnaire. Poor coming in for Keeper of the Force as well. But Parasite just going to walk away as if it never even happened. So Legionnaire, he's kind of been quiet this game. But, nice throw snipe from Fitske right there. He comes to the bottom lane and completely catches Slicks off guard. Very good timing. Waitaba wants some revenge, but at what cost right here? Stalagmites will miss. It won't matter, though. He eventually falls as Pebbles joins the party. 7-2 heroical start here.
Well, that was weird. I actually thought that was Keeper of the Forest. Like, for a second there, Lust looked like... is that Lust, the Lust skin for Parasite?
That is...
or Envy.
No, that's Envy.
Envy, sorry. It looked like Keeper of the Forest for a second there, but... yeah. Anyway, they get a good kill on them. The score is now 7-2. Codex is purchased on Parasite. Am I seeing things? Did he really have it was like
2-0-4, man.
And he has 200 gold, so this is like a 9-minute, 10-minute Codex. Wow.
Yeah.
That is fast. Okay. Okay, Helm of the Black Legion now picked up onto White, as he's going to have... He doesn't have boots yet, though, so that's kind of unfortunate. Checking out his skill build. He does go 3 in Terrifying Charge. Doesn't want to max it yet. He wants a little bit more damage from his Whirling Blade. Of course, 1 onto Taunt. I have Theory Craft a little bit. I think actually gaining a couple more levels into Taunt early on, especially when you need to be a little bit more active this game, which they need to. It's a lot more effective, but it doesn't make the biggest difference in the world. Soul Reaper, let's see what he's going for as far as items. He's delivering something. He does have that Astrolabe, so they have that push potential now if they want to group up.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, that kind of goes back to Soul Reaper a little bit. We're talking to him about his late game potential a little bit earlier and how they definitely have that with him here for the returner, so that's some more good news for them. You think back to earlier competitive Han, again, when it was more of a turtle style of game. Intelligence carries. There's 2 types of intelligence carries. One is like your puppet master, you know, your DPS dealers, your auto attack dealers. Your other one is your tanky intellect characters, like Defiler, like Soul Reaper, and that's in the middle lane, by the way, Devourer just used his ultimate on a Pebbles Illusion right there. So unfortunate for Moravis, he baited for it, and it did not pay off. But Soul Reaper, man, he will just get mass tanky. That aura will just be taken away. He'll spam his heal bomb and then eventually execute you with his Boom Goes the Dynamite ultimate. So, yeah, he can be a very scary hero in that late game stage, definitely. And I'm curious to see how angry Tessie does if we get to that point. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Parasite going for the Codex. The last auto attack, it is going to be enough. Regidag will fall. The level 1 Codex already coming into play here for Emperor.
Good job by him. Of course, he did switch up his Ghost Marchers into that Codex, so he's going to have it. I mean, he's got to be like, oh my god, really? He has a Codex already? So Slicks 0-5-1. It seems like the blue position is not the spot you want to be in because he is 0-5-1 right now. Of course, Bryce didn't do that well that game in that blue position either, but he's getting his revenge this game with some great pickoffs. He's already 3-0-4. He's been involved in 7 out of the 8 kills, so good job from him.
Legionnaire trying to chase down this Aluna, and actually Aluna is in a lot of trouble. In fact, here comes Keeper of the Force, going to block him with the minions. The root even going to be used. I don't know about that. It seems like a little bit of overkill, but Keeper of the Force making turn on. Aluna's going to be alive. There's the smash in the air. Here's the W, and down goes Keeper of the Force. Jeppins, what amazing damage coming out from Kinesis right there, showing how the hero really works. Pebbles from the side is going to clean up the creep wave. Wow, Aluna lived. I thought it was overkill for sure, but the root didn't even set up the kill right there.
Wow. I don't know. White Talbot just didn't cast his spells. I think he was trying to save him, but he waited too long. He didn't. I don't even think he charged. That was kind of a misplay by him, but nonetheless, great save by Kinesis and good getaway by Fitske. That's got to be huge. That's got to really sink in and hurt.
The returners, they're down 1-0 here against TT Esports. Again, they simply put, they got dominated in game number 1.
Right.
Here they are in game number 2. Talk about just having short-term memory loss. I mean, it's as if they're in the series lead right now. I mean, they are playing fantastic here in game number 2. Completely opposite sides of the story. And they're the ones that are dominating TT Esports already here in game number 2. Only 13.5 minutes in. We have a 5,800 goal lead, 2,400 experience lead. And all across the board, it really is looking good for the returners. Hook missing right there from Moravis. And again, I haven't been watching Devour this whole game by any means, but it does seem like he really hasn't been landing a lot of hooks himself. And, you know, again, that's a kind of hero. It's if you can land those hooks, it definitely makes it worth the hero pickup. But if you're going to be missing those hooks, this is a lot of its efficiency, of course.
Well, Luna Pebbles is a great lane, and it's one of the strongest in mid. And they just played it well. Even if you say you hook up Pebbles, you're not really going to kill him. Yes, and he's playing in a good fashion. I mean, he's staying right next to the creep wave. And actually, speaking of hooks, he actually does get a hook on the Pebbles. Pebbles might be able to combo him. I think he's actually going to be okay. He does combo him and run away, so that's part of the reason. At this stage, even if you hook him, you can't get a kill on him, like I just said, almost. But he's going to go up in the top lane. He does see, what are those? No, they're not carrots. They're, what are those things called?
Cords. What?
The
haste rune. Yeah,
the candy corn.
Candy corn, yes.
Right. He's going to bottle up the candy corn and maybe look for a gank. He actually pops the haste rune. Leon Black, though, has a ward of sight there, so he's going to see him. Maybe he's going to look to roam in the bottom lane. Hag, of course, not having a great game. Slicks, he's actually still managed to have good creep farm. He's 64 and 27.
Yeah.
And if you compare that actually to Kinesis, he's really dominating him in that respect. But nonetheless, still 0-5 and 1, and that you got to attribute Bryce to that a lot.
Of course, and that's what I said. It's earlier, you know, his creep farm actually, in that sense, he was even winning against Kinesis, but that's just one part of the stat. You know, you look at the 0-5, and, that's why it's only 210 gold per minute. So, yeah, he has just been having a struggling start. But at the same time, I mean, maybe you know different. Again, I'm kind of speaking as a spectator point of view, but Slicks just seems like really one of those cool, calm guys. You know, it's like he could be like 0-10 start, and all of a sudden he'll just come back and take over the game. So
it doesn't affect him mentally.
It doesn't affect him. Yeah, exactly. He just seems like one of those players. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal, bro. You know, I'll be fun in the end. You know, really just like that. So that's, I guess, some good news for TteS Esports. He's not a player that will get frustrated very easily, knowing that he could just come back. So,
right.
But yeah, overall, man, I mean, TteS Esports, this team makeup speaks aggressive early start, and the fact that they're losing 9-2 hero kills coming up to the 16-minute mark here, obviously not the greatest sign.
Yeah, and Portal Key now picked up on the Pebbles. I don't believe he's shown it yet. He's maybe trying to bait out Kinesis here from possible spells. Of course, he would die relatively fast. Actually, no, Kinesis built a little bit tanky now. He's got over 1,100 HP. He also has a Mystic Vestment there. In fact, I think 3 heroes out of the 5 have Mystic Vestments on this Hellborn side, so that's going to mitigate a lot of damage.
Well, also remember his third ability, too. It's only level 1 right now, but
that's right.
His Inherit Defense, or whatever it's called. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Moravis will pick up a kill on a Fitsuke. Actually catches him here in the middle lane and is able to take him out, so well played right there. I'm sure that started with a hook and ended with a ultimate, so again, good job by Moravis. But yeah, his third ability, it'll start adding up. And at level 4, you're dealing with, what is it, 50% of the spell damage he puts out, which is a lot, as we've seen. He'll absorb and damage himself. So he can be somewhat tanky and frustrating to try to kill in those team fights. Middle lane is going to be pushed out. Whoa, the hook attempt right there. Nearly got Parasite in that Vulture Lord, but he's able to avoid it. You see Parasite kind of going around the outside. Will they look to port it? And he's going to open with a leech. Not going to really initiate, though, kind of scaring them off. Kinesis charging in. He's level 11. He's got the level 2 mass control. They're going to go for Devour right here. Slow him down a little bit. There's a Stasis Smash in the air. Here's the ultimate, I believe. No, that's not even the ultimate. That's just his W. He's going to avoid the hook. Keep it the force. Then there goes Pebbles. There's another nuke. And down he goes. Bapos hitting a couple of heroes right there in fact 3. What a top from Legionnaire. This is going to be huge. So right on top of that. The Decapitate coming out. Pebbles dropping quickly. Pebbles will fall. There's the mass control, though. 2 players die instantly, it seems like. Parasite doing damage. Down goes Keeper of the Force. Hat-trick coming out for Jeppins. Wow. Again, talk about burst damage. That was just insane right there. And Soul Reaper came in at the last minute, too. So he wasn't even there from the beginning. Jeppins, man, showing how to play Kinesis.
Now, okay, his ultimate, maybe you can teach me here, Breaky. It does it to an area, right? It's not just one hero. It says activate again to launch all lifted units within 1,200 radius at target location. So I'm wondering if that's just one hero. I haven't played
when you target with it, it's like a circle that you target it with, kind of like Gladiator's ultimate.
Okay.
So I believe, yeah, it's an area damage effect.
Oh my God, this is why we see them lock Kinesis, man.
Yeah.
As he's dishing out so much damage. Let's go ahead and go to the damage charts. What do you know, guys? 22% Kinesis. The next one, believe it or not, is actually Angry Testy on Soul Reaper. You have to attribute that to, of course, the aura, that Inhuman, I think it's called, no, sorry, Withering Presence, and then just his ability to spam that magic damage, that Judgment spell.
Yeah.
And wow, what a big team fight. It looked actually grim. It looked really grim at the start for the returners, but they were able to turn it around, and Good
well,
job by all.
This is a pretty solid team fight team, and that's where it's scary for the returners. By the way, bottom tower going down, even more of a lead for them now. But the keeper route on top of a great taunt. It seemed like he got 3 or 4 heroes even. I mean, and the Bat Blast on top of that. But all of a sudden, Kinesis was like, damage, baby. Middle tower going down. But at what cost right here? 4 Devour taking a lot of damage. He tries to use his ultimate. It's not going to matter. He got Demonic Execution in the air, so it didn't even kill him. But still, he falls shortly after. So again, that's where you need to be a little bit careful if you are Kinesis, throwing people in the air. Like right there, maybe not a whole big point to do it. He was going to get bursted down, and it made the Soul Reaper ultimate do 50% less damage as a result of it. But hey, they get the kill, so that's what matters. Pebbles at the bottom lane needs to be careful. Oh, never mind. I was going to say he needs to be careful because Glacius was coming in, but he's like, shut up, Breaky.
Glacius is coming. He's 4 levels under you, but you got to run.
Well, okay, Hag was coming too.
Okay,
Let me
right.
finish. Okay. Hag was coming as well, but yeah, so he just turns it on to Glacius and gets him killed. Soul Reaper running into Keeper here, but Keeper's just going to walk away with the Invis. But how about TteS? I mean, Soul Reaper. So, okay, for those that have followed the credit scene for a while, once again, I mean, Angry TteS, he's kind of making his comeback, but before he was known as more of a sit-back farming style of player, similar to like a Haxorn, you could say safely nowadays even.
Right.
He's been doing that a lot here. He is 0-3, obviously getting involved in that last fight in the last second, but he's been doing a lot of sit back and farm. He is farming 400 gold per minute, though.
Oh, the bottom lane of those close was almost a kill on the Hag. He's actually going to port out back to home to safety. But yeah, speaking of Angry TteS, actually in the mid lane, Pebbles is going to be a lot of trouble. Gets collapsed on here from the portal key from Whitalaba, and then the other spells were used, of course, the ultimate from Moravis actually on Devour, and White gets credit for the kill. But yeah, TteS, he's doing his thing this game. That's what he needs to do. And just farm up. He's pretty much the hard carry if this does get to the late game, so he needs to make sure he can secure that. He is going for a very tanky route. He has the Gnome's Wisdom, an item we very rarely see, but it is picked up here and actually works quite well.
Yeah.
I think it actually works very well with Kinesis as well. I actually see Kinesis pick it up a lot. But nonetheless, he has it. He's got his completed Shaman's Headdress, so he's trying to go for that tanky route.
It could definitely make sense for an intelligence hero that wants to be a little bit tanky, and it also has spammable abilities. So you look at Kinesis, you look at Soul Reaper, obviously it makes sense for them. So, yeah, I definitely can appreciate that pickup there. You know, you said the Shaman's Headdress, the Astrolabe on top of that. Did he just buy something? No, I guess so. He has those items, obviously a lot. It's not that I'm saying that's bad by any means, but I'm just curious if you had anything else. Parasite has a portal key now. Again, Emperor, talk about a turnaround game for a player. He had a horrible game last game on that Witch there. Had a bad start, and it just kind of snowballed from there. This game, great start. He's 4-0-7 right now, so definitely making up for that. And I agree with you. He is playing a lot more comfortable role, that's for sure. You know, playing this roaming Parasite, so that maybe has something to do with it as well. But calming things down a little bit, TT Esports, they do got a portal key on Keeper of the Forest. They got a portal key on Legionnaire.
Yeah.
We do have Puzzle Box being worked on by Wretched Hag, it looks like, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
So they're starting to get a couple of their initial items now, too.
I think Puzzle Box is a really horrible choice here, especially against a Parasite who can simply just jump in the creep. It's just really not the smartest choice. I feel like they're going to need something more like a lockdown ability. I think Hellflower would be perfect against Soul Reaper to give that extra damage, of course, and then preventing him from using that heal constantly, both his Judgment and the Astrolabe that he has. So Hellflower, in my opinion, would have been the prestige pickup, but yeah, going for a Puzzle Box, I really disagree with that item pickup from Slicks, but nonetheless, that's his decision, and he's probably sticking to it. Yeah. Anyway, other pickups, the Soul's Bulwark coming out from Pebbles. That's going to give him a lot more pushing potential and just armor in general. Just a great overall item to have for your team. I would really like to see TteS start building something more towards the late game, something like a Sheepstick. They're going to need that lockdown, especially on Hag, and that's why I think a Sheepstick is much better on him than, say, a Hellflower. Of course, it does give him a little bit extra stats, so that plus 10 strength, I believe. And I think it might even be more once it gets to convert to a Sheepstick. I'll double-check on that. But nonetheless, that's the item I think he should be going for.
Another thing to keep in mind here is a hero like Devour, obviously a tanky hero. We talked about this yesterday when we did see him, and this could be a game where we can start to see more of a mid to later game stage, and we could see him having 3,000-plus life as a result of that. I wouldn't be surprised. So Soul Reaper's great against tanky heroes simply because of his demonic execution. He's like, I don't care how much life you have. I just need to get you to half-life, and then you're dead, basically. So, and by all means, they have the burst damage to at least do that between Kinesis, you know, obviously with Pebbles, even Soul Reaper, of course, Parasite. So just getting him to half-life is the key, and then you just demonic execution him to burn him the rest. So that's definitely something that the Hellborn team also has going for them. making a note again of a hero that we just don't get to see often. So kind of a reminder there even. But he already has 1,800 life. Again, this is Devour for you. The only 2 charges, mind you. So
yeah, I know. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's going the more tanky route. He has the Shaman TteS, the Helm of the Black Legion, and the Steam Boots, actually. I think that's the route I usually see Moravis go, is the Steam Boots route. He just wants to be a big tanky mess that doesn't die. But like you mentioned, Soul Reaper's a great counter to that. And his farm is still up there. I mean, he's top farm in the game, 401 gold per minute. And I really do hope that he goes for something like a Sheep Stick. Now, looking at Bry's items, he only went for the level 1 Codex, then went for a Portal Key. Now it looks like he's going for a Hellflower, and I definitely agree with that pickup. They're going to need that Hellflower or that Sheep Stick to lock down that Hag, or that Keep of the Forest. And Keep of the Forest, yes, he is a strength hero, but if you get the jump on him, especially if it's with the Hellflower, he will drop fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so it seems like we have entered a much more of a passive gameplay here. Obviously, we had a crazy aggressive early start specifically for the returners. We're looking at a 15-6 hero kill advantage as a result of that. But here we are, 24.5 minutes in. I mean, usually, again, most games, honestly, at this point in the game, come down to a point of you have the early start, you go to this phase, and then you start to farm a little bit more, trying to get your second-tier items even. In this case, really especially for the Hellborn team. So taking a quick look at that here, you talked about Kinesis, that possible Hellflower in the making, so that'll be good for him. Looks like Soul Reaper has that Blessed Orb, and you mentioned earlier a Sheep Stick could be pretty powerful for them, so we'll see if that's what Angry Testy decides to go for. And then you have Parasite, his Hellflower, definitely on the way as well. He has at least 1 Arcana. Something tells me he has 2 probably, just not actually on him. There's another Arcana purchase, though, for Kinesis and the makings of the 3rd one. So, yeah, he's getting very close now to the Hellflower. You're fine with the Hellborn team right now, not really going aggressive. I mean, again, you did say they have a Soul Reaper, of course, as well. That could definitely be pretty powerful for them going to late game stage. So, yeah, the pace favors the Hellborn team right now, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Keep of the Forest is actually quite a big force in the late game. Can offer a lot with, say, Refresher and a Sheep or anything like that. But I just think there's more. I think Kinesis is going to be... I haven't seen Kinesis yet in the late game, so I'm really interested to see how he pans out. But I imagine he does a ton of damage. I mean, we've already seen a lot of damage. And like you mentioned, that shield ability, that scales much better as it gets toward the late game. Soul Reaper with max items is so strong, especially against Hag. And even Pebbles can dish out so much damage with full items. And Hag... I would say if Hag went for different items, maybe could carry this, but not with Puzzle Box and not against a Parasite. Yeah. So I really just... I'm not quite sure what Slicks was thinking with the Puzzle Box. Maybe he wants to burn the mana of Soul Reaper or Pebbles once they jump in, but you can expect that Pebbles in this kind of game is still going to go for a Shrunken Head after maybe a Bulwark, after maybe a Demonic, and so it's still not that effective. So I like the pickups and just the overall heroes and matchups for this Hellborn team a lot better. And that's why they're up 10k gold and 6,700 experience. And actually the gold has been rising slowly, but the experience has been rising a lot faster, actually.
It definitely has been. So all around, looking good for the returners. Now a top tower kill coming out for Slicks for TT Esports there. So and you look at TT Esports, they're grouping out to push this top lane. In the meantime, the Hellborn team doing the same. So we could see a little bit of some tower exchanging going on right here. And who's going to be the one to blink first is the big question. It looks like, yeah, both teams are going to kind of commit to a push. Now, the Legion team, they do have Keeper of the Forest, and he obviously tends to be a very powerful tower pusher, but the Hellborn team, pretty good push themselves, and this tower is going to drop quickly. So they get the tower kill, they're going to port up top, invulnerability was already used. Will they look to jump in right here? The tower is dropping quickly. Kinesis coming in. Your portal key used to get away. Here comes Pebbles. He will get the combo off onto Devour. Trying to push it back. Devour locking down Pebbles. Pebbles now falling back. In comes Soul Reaper though. That glacial downpour coming out. Doing a good amount of damage. The Poland right there from Kinesis. The damage coming out for him. But that decapitate onto Aluna though. But you look at Kinesis. He's taking a bit of the damage with that 3rd ability of the damage he put out. Devour is still somehow alive, but it looks like he's going to fall in the end. Oh, he's going to deny himself actually. Pretty good job there by Moravis, but now the chase is on in favor of the returners. Parasite is chasing this Legionnaire. Leech will come out, and can he port away in time? And he stuns. No, they do not. Legionnaire and Keeper of the Forest will survive in the end, but clearly a one fight right there for the returners. Enzo and Pebbles, by the way, bought back.
Oh, did he buy out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully he made something out of that. But anyway, I'm not going to lie. I think it's a little difficult to sometimes see which heroes is which, because if you notice, there's a difference in the color. The hue is like a pinkish purple color, and I had a hard time, not even going to lie, seeing which hero was on.
Because of the Halloween effect?
Right, yeah. But nonetheless, yeah, it was clearly a one fight for the Hellborn side. Soul Reaper, I mean, I don't even think was hurt in that fight. Ulted actually the Glacius, who was channeling that ultimate, so kind of wonder about that. It was doing a lot of damage and just wanted to cancel it immediately. She just got decimated, but nonetheless, that's going to be a closer fight for Soul Reaper's Sheepstick, which is very much in the works. He needs about another 800, 900 gold, and he'll have that, and that's going to be a massive item against this team.
You see Kinesis trying to chase down Glacius right here. He's level 16, has that health. I would have easily burned him down, as well as Parasite being nearby. But Glacius, thankfully for him, was able to kind of sneak on out of there. So they're going to go over into Conqueror, it looks like. Kinesis at least is in the pit. Here comes Soul Reaper. They're going to group up and go for a Conqueror attempt. Now, the Legion team, they do have a Ward of Sight over here, is about to wear out by Leon Black for the bottom room, but they definitely don't have vision on the Conqueror pit. So it's more of a guess at this point for TT Esports if they're doing Conqueror, the Franken Conqueror here. Shout out to Halloween once again. I don't think they know. This is going to be a free tower or free Conqueror kill. But look at Keeper the Force. He's pressuring the secondary middle tower by himself. That's definitely a good tool. Oh, what a portal key from Keeper right there. Enzo jumped in, ready to combo. But Keeper of the Force, very quick reaction. Won't get the tower kill, and Conqueror will go down on top of that. So just a little bit of a distraction there.
Yeah, and the Token of Life up on Soul Reaper. He can just be up in the front line, spamming that Q like crazy, similar to an Armadon, and just goes up there in the front and spams his quills.
Yeah.
And will just simply not die. And in the event that he does die, well, he's going to come right back. So he's going to have that token, and he's on his way to a Sheepstick. Looks like Pebbles wants to go for that very fast Demonic Breastplate as he picks up the Warp Club, I believe it's called. And so he's going to have that Demonic in about 1,400 gold or so. And that's going to be just another great team fight tool for this Helmward team.
You know, speaking of Soul Reaper and Kinesis, you know what's funny with this patch hitting today? Those 5 or 6 new items came out today.
Right.
Obviously, they're not eligible for tournament mode, as really any new hero or new item. It's going to take a while probably, but man, Soul Reaper, Kinesis, I can imagine that Dawnbringer item, you know, and what it makes into with that 15% more overall damage done. I mean, that seems like those could be pretty powerful items for these kind of heroes. So
yeah, what is that one? It's called the Grimoire, I think?
The Grimoire, yeah.
Grimoire of Power, which will give you oh, wait, yes. It's the extra damage, the 15% extra damage passively.
It's an intelligence-based Frostburn item, so with a Dawnbringer.
Top lane!
The top lane, Wretched not getting person up. Oh my god, he melted away. Kinesis does get hooked, but look at Devour. He's like, hook, run, and that is going to pay off here for the Hellborn team. Moravis, that is a rare case of a hook hitting that you do not want to hit. He is dropping quickly. Keeper the Force, though, comes in with the root. Will it be enough to turn around? Yes, it will for now. Kinesis, though, with this mass damage. Look at Devour, though, 2,500 life, as well as that magic armor, as well as the physical armor. He's going to go invis. Good job by Keeper the Force. Aluna running in, going invis himself, but they have a bound eye or something. They were able to see him. Oh, yeah, he had a bound eye himself. But anyways, they get the kill. And down goes Keeper now, and Moravis trying to juke. He's going to run up here. He doesn't have a TP, though, remember. It was canceled, so he's going to
be up there for a while.
Hiding. Yeah, he's going to be up here for a while. He is regenning pretty quickly, but Luna is just trying to find him. She has another snipe here in 2 seconds. Will she use it? They know it's on cooldown, so they figure he's somewhere here, but he isn't invisible at the same time. And in fact, he's going to go for a kill onto Aluna. He runs up with the Devour. Will Aluna fall right here? The creep may save her because of the hook. Oh, can he actually hook? The Deja Vu going the other way. What a juke right there by Aluna. Can he sidestep God right there.
God.
Here comes a turnaround. Devour will fall as a Kinesis is like, you like burst? Well, here's some burst. What a sidestep right there.
Good job. Just heads up play from Fitsky. He's such a great player. Really heads up play by him. He's got the bound die, and then, yeah, there's really nothing Moravis could do at that point. You got to question. Of course, they did get the counter kill onto, who was that, I believe? It was
Hag. No, wait.
Bryce. He died from the Keeper ultimate, but he got the hook and tried to TP out immediately.
Yeah.
Looked kind of funny, but they were able to capitalize on that. A one fight yet again. 12,000, over 12,000 experience lead for the returners. It's a 20-9 kill game here, guys. In case you're just tuning in, this is game 2 of this group stages of the returners versus TT Esports. Of course, game 1 went convincingly to TT Esports, but now returners coming back in good fashion and looking to take the second game.
Yeah, look at Slicks, though. I mean, as I said earlier, he just seems kind of like one of those players. He won't let his early start phase him. He 0-5-1 early start. He's 1-7-4 now, so it's not like it's crazy better, but he's getting nearly 300 gold per minute. He has a level 3 puzzle box. He just bought a Mighty Blade, I believe, so on his way to a Shrunken Head. He is recovering, and of course, great news for TT Esports right there. Look at what Kinesis is doing here at the top lane. They're getting ready to initiate on Keeper of the Force. He's got trees in the air. He's going to pick up some more with that mass control. There it goes. Oh, my God! hero is
Oh,
ridiculous.
man.
Soul Reaper gets jumped right here. I don't know if that's the correct target, though, to jump. If you're the Legion team, as I mentioned, especially with that token of life, you see the puzzle box minions are just going to get destroyed.
Oh my
Wow,
God!
somebody needs to make a highlight video of this Jeppins. Kinesis is going to be the #1 picked hero tomorrow in all big play.
Well, I think it's a hero that requires finesse. That's all I gotta say. And I've known Jeppins for a while. He actually used to live in Olympia, where I came from, and I lived like 3 minutes away from him. So shout out to Olympia, by the way. But I've known him for quite some time, and he's been playing this hero for a long time. It's not just something. Hey, I think Kinesis might work. Let's try him out. No, he knows the power of Kinesis, and now everyone else does.
Yeah. I know Xander K. By the way, with that said, big shout out to Xander K. He is getting married this weekend. He is going to be a married man when he comes back to the office on Monday, and so big shout out to him. But the reason why I bring him up, the S2 Games community manager, he was a big part of the Kinesis hero in the first place. He actually the concept, the design of the hero came from a lot of it came from him actually, and so he was really excited to see it implemented into the game. And he always talked about when it finally became eligible for tournament play, wanted to see it, and we never really saw it though, so it disappointed him. But I doubt he's watching this game again. He's getting married this weekend after all, but I'm going to definitely tell him about this game, and I'm sure he'll hear about it anyways, and he'll have quite the smile on his face, I'm sure.
I'm sure he'll be pleased
once
to
he sees it. So
see Jeppins playing this correctly, and looks like Jeppins might go for, say, a Shrunken Head, which I think is a great item here against the Keeper, against the Glacius, against the Hag. And yep, he does have a finished Shrunken Head, so tons of items being on this are being produced on this Hellborn side. Hellflower almost finished. Here comes the initiation onto Keeper, and he is a dead duck. Kiss my ass, as John St. John. And Enzo gets.
By the way, this is interesting. 2 barrier idols on TT Esports.
What?
They have 2. Legionnaire and Keeper the Forest. Both have a barrier idol.
Maybe some miscommunication.
Oops. Yeah, because doesn't it? You're not able to stack it.
No.
Yeah, more than 50 seconds. So
you can't stack it.
Oops.
That's a lot of gold too.
Yeah.
Like normally, if someone's getting a barrier on your team, you just want vestments. So going from vestments, which is 400 gold, to a full barrier, which I think is it's like 3,600 in total. Let me check that out. Yeah, 3,650. That's a lot of wasted gold. So unfortunate miscommunication right there.
Returners, they are looking good right now. Now, this is interesting what's going on right here. Devour's pushing the middle and all the way to the base, actually. But look at all 5 here for the Returners. They're at the bottom lane, of course, easily winning this race. And they're going to destroy this tower. Now, Keeper the Force comes up in 5 seconds. So, yeah, probably a smart decision for the Returners to fall back right there, as Keeper the Force was going to be ready to initiate with a big root and follow up, of course. We keep going back to that. So, again, Returners, they are in the lead right now. They're in the lead here, being down a game. They're in the lead in game number 2. 14,000 goal lead, 14,000 experience lead. But this is a solid team fight team here on the Legion side. Legionnaire, Wretched Hag, Keeper of the Forest, Devour is somewhat, I mean, he's kind of a little bit of a mix there, but they definitely are still in this game. So the last thing you want to do as the Returners is just feel way too confident and overexcited about it, and then push in and have it all fall apart. So
of course, and they were pushing, and TteS had the token still. I was wondering, why aren't they pushing? It had like 10 seconds left on it, so they didn't want to risk that. And they might have a good idea, but the blinking in, the aggressive blinks coming in from Legionnaire specifically. Parasite might be in a little bit of trouble. He gets caught. Can the save happen? No, he is going to die quite quickly. So big jump onto Emperor. He dies very fast.
In fact, Kinesis got caught by the Haunt as well, so he's just trying to run away. Nice hook right there from Ravens. He will activate the Shrunken Head, though. In goes Keeper the Force with the word, but will it matter? There's the mass control on the Legion team right there. Devour taking a lot of it, but he will fall when it's all said and done. And the Hellborn team turning this around now. Soul Reaper, angry TteS, he's more than fine. We see Wretched Hag just blinking away. Keeper of the Force just trying to run away as well. But again, the mass control, it just, when that happens, you see the fight completely go in favor of the Hellborn team, it seems like, throughout this game. Jeppins is a champion in Newer with 11-2-9. Helps finish off right there onto Keeper the Forest. Hag the only survivor, and the lead is even that much bigger now for the Returners.
Yeah, and I don't know if a jump onto Parasite is really worth it. I mean, they killed him quite quickly. The Hag ult was expended. You mentioned the Haunt. Was it the Haunt or maybe just part of the Hag ulti?
I think it was the Hag ulti that caught.
That slowed him a little
Jeppins,
bit.
yeah.
But you can't expend it on just a Parasite. Now, I know Parasite does have a lot of items. He's got big items, don't get me wrong. But I think you're going to need something more. You're going to need an all-out burst on Kinesis or Soul Reaper. But that's the beauty of the way that they have their makeup now. They're in such a huge lead. 22,000 experience, 20k gold. If you kill Kinesis, you expend so much to kill him. You have a Soul Reaper that's 500 gold per minute, still 4,300 saved up. He's got a Sheep, he's got a Shaman's Headdress, he's tanky as hell. You're just how do you choose who to go on?
Yeah, well,
it's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, that's the beauty of both Kinesis and Soul Reaper at the same time too. I mean, it's obviously Soul Reaper we talked about earlier being very tanky, you know, both in the way he builds and just in general, but. Jetpin's on Kinesis, also somewhat of a tanky hero. You know, he's not going necessarily mass tanky items by any means, but the inherent defense, 50% of the magic damage he puts out will put a damage shield around him that absorbs that much damage. At a maximum of 500, okay, so I wasn't even aware of that. I was going to say that could just get absurd, but still, that's 500 damage that very likely in team fights he's going to absorb, so you really have to add that to his life total even. So, yeah, it's definitely a big deal, and I think TteS Esports is more and more feeling it as this game progresses, of course. So we got Soul Reaper, 4,800 gold saved out, by the way, on Angry Testy. So perhaps on the way to his next big item. Obviously, buyback's also important. Only buyback being used so far on Pebbles. Kongor should be back up here very shortly, I would think, as a token of life wore off a couple minutes ago at least. So, in fact, there we go, right on cue. So Kongor's up. Leon Black does have a ward of sight here. Franken Kongor, excuse me. Got to get it right. I'm sure the Hellborn team will realize that, though. They're going to go over. But, again, there is a Ward of Sight in here. So the Legion team will be aware of this. This could get interesting.
They do have a Bound Eye up onto Fitsuke. He's had it for quite some time. Hopefully they're able to spot that out. Oh, there's the aggressive blink yet again. And actually a missed hook. This could be a horrible fight for TteS Esports.
Here we go. Pebbles just drops Glacius off the bat. Devour locking down Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper is just like, yeah, not a big deal. Give it the force. We'll come with the rune. But again, Kinesis sitting in the background. Soul Reaper gets picked off, actually. That's a very good start here for the Legion team. Pebbles jumping in, but Kinesis with that Shuriken Head is pounding and right click out of attacks. Gets a kill onto Devour. The Hellfire goes on a Wretched Hag now. And will they be able to burst on him? Nice stun from Aluna coming out. There's a throw up in the air to keep it the force. He's going to pick up an invis, though, and he'll quickly get away. So it ends, buyback's actually happening. Angry Testy did buy back on Soul Reaper. You see Pebbles falling back before he dies. So TteS Esports actually a solid fire for them. They did burn down Soul Reaper pretty quickly there.
Yeah.